For our last show of the season, we picked 3 of our best episodes from the past year. They highlight just how important amateur images and user participation have become for news organizations.
La voie, les conditions sont très mauvaises. On a seulement 4 douches ici pour plus de 150 personnes.
In May, we received videos from 2 people detained in a center called Trinta in Angola. Many from West and Central Africa are held there for months, even those who are in the country legally. The detainees are forced to wait in dire conditions as their identification papers are processed. Eric and Eve contacted us to share their experience in the detention center.
This is the biggest prison for foreigners in Angola. There are women, children and elderly people being held here. It's called Trinta. One of the biggest problems is the food. There isn't enough of it, and it's of bad quality. And look at the water. I just poured this. You can see it's a sort of yellow color. When we drink it, we get stomach aches. The water is bad for our health. Lots of people get sick here. When we get sick, they always say the same thing. There's no medicine. At the hospital, whatever problem you have, they give you paracetamol. Headache, paracetamol. Infection, paracetamol. Even diarrhea, paracetamol.
There are people who have been in here for 8 months, a year, 2 years. We don't know how long we'll be here, or when we'll be released and sent back to our countries. It's hell. We're like the living dead.
We lost contact with Eve and Eric in late June, but they told us earlier that conditions in the detention center had worsened in May. Our sources also say that Angolan authorities have been sending dozens of detainees back to their home countries. International organizations aren't the only one documenting human rights abuses. In Papua, in eastern Indonesia, a group of volunteers is gathering videos on the conflict between local separatist groups and the Indonesian army, which have left many civilians dead. In March, we spoke to Wenceslas Fatubun, an activist who founded the website Papuan Archive. He told us about his team's work in a region that journalists have little access to.
In Papua, we have 2 problems. One about the authoritarian control the information, and then second, some information come out to the social media but not really true or really manipulated. So because of that, so I create Papuan Archive. Now we have 60 young Papuan who are living in the remote area and who provide the video and photo and send to the team in Jayapura to verify and try to find who victims and who is the perpetrator. Our goal is to support the indigenous Papuans who struggling for their right, support the environmental movement like protecting forests from the palm oil company, mining, also timber company. We try to work independent, but we know that we have to support our team in the remote area with the smartphone, credit for internet. So because of that, so we open also for people who want to support us with some fund.
Fatubun has documented around 30 cases of human and environmental rights abuses in Papua.
Eu já perdi a conta de quantas vezes ouvi. Te expulsaram da aldeia?
Ah, você deixou de ser índio.
Christian Wariu is fighting back against stereotypes of indigenous people in Brazil, one YouTube video at a time. On his channel, he's raising awareness about the stigmatization they faced and challenging common misconceptions about his community.
The aim of my YouTube channel is to demystify the indigenous question in Brazil. What I learned from talking to other kids when I was in school is that people really don't know anything about our culture.
Eu pertenço a 2 dos mais de 300 povos nativos que resistem aqui no Brasil, somando mais de 270 línguas diferentes, com uma estimativa de quase 1 milhão de indivíduos espalhados em aldeias e cidades em todo o território brasileiro. E se falar que não existe indígena no Brasil, tá mentindo.
When I was in middle school, our history books had only 1 or 2 pages about indigenous peoples. And those pages focused on the colonial period.
Wario's YouTube channel has more than 17,000 subscribers and has been viewed more than 100,000 times in just a year. He's also been vocal about indigenous land rights and the exploitation of natural resources.
Our videos show that there's a struggle, that we're taking action, standing up for our rights. It's important because our struggle gets very little attention in the media.
Pelas nossas terras, pelas nossas reivindicações, pelos nossos direitos.
There are still people who tell me, but why aren't you in the forest? You should be back in your village. Or they say indigenous Brazilians are out there fighting and you're making YouTube videos. They don't understand that making YouTube videos is another way of fighting for our rights.
That's it for this season. A huge thanks to our observers, without whom this show would not be possible. Don't forget to follow our stories online and let us know if you see something happening near you. We'll see you again in September.